Hey, everybody. Welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 62. And tonight we have Walker McNulty filling in for Shane and Ralph. Hi there, Walker. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Walker wants to talk about a few things, so we'll do that shortly after we go through our normal procedure. So we have this new Between the Lanes kind of, I won't say logo, but this was done by Kurt Vincent, who runs the Central Illinois Slot Series. So he sent this to me, I think last week after we did the show, and it's kind of different and cool. So we'll be starting the show off with this. As I always say, go find us on YouTube. Channel is Slot Racer. 62 episodes up there now, and how-to articles and a few special episodes. And find us on Facebook. Between the Lanes is the Facebook page. And we'll start off with our race results. And we're going to start off with the winning report of a place that you know well. So last week at the Slot Car Track Concord, they had a Flexi Flats warm-up race. And they raced LMP and DTM cars. I guess you ran the rules basically is we're going to run to Flexi Flats. I mean, I don't know if everybody ran Scorpion motors and stuff like that, but
Yeah, it was a couple of people ran an FK. I think Russ ran an FK, but
okay.
A lot of the guys had Scorpions because we ran the Palooza.
Oh.
So we ran pretty accurately. There was a couple of different tires and whatnot around, but it was mostly accurate to the rules.
Okay. So in the LMP class, Shane Parent was the winner. James Merriman was second, and Russ Martin was third. And then in DTM, Russ was the winner. Chris Barnes was second, and James Merriman was third. And you were kind of down the finishing order there. What? Anything you want to talk about?
I had some bad luck. I hit somebody under the bridge, like full punched, and bent the car. And I got straightened back out, and I lost about 6 laps. And I hit somebody on the panel, bent the car. I had to straighten it back out. Just bad luck.
Just racing luck.
Yeah.
Hey, as we announced last week, the 2018 Israel Worlds is taking place as we speak, and so far, they ran the production 24 team race, and the winning team was Boudries and Forsyth, and Jonathan, of course, is from the U.S. Second was the Finnish team of Ollie and Maddie. And then we had Ravis and I think it's Aegis. That was your third place team. And today, because we're taping this on Tuesday, they finished Eurosport 32nd. Recheck was the winner. Horky was second. And Ollie from Finland was third. I think it was a difference of 4 laps between first and second. And I didn't watch it or anything, but just reading some comments, I guess Horky put on a pretty good late charge, but came up a little short. So yeah, that's what we know from the Israel World so far. And then last weekend was the Mid-South race at Hobie Max. And you were there again. And stock car, Nick Brantley was the winner. Bobby Beachman was second, and Anthony Brown was third. And it was the same podium finish in GTP with Nick winning, Bobby second, Anthony third. And in the scale 4.5-inch class, Bobby was the winner, Shane was second, and Walker, our guest, was third.
I was second.
Oh, you were second?
Yeah, I was second.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I read it wrong. Thanks for correcting me.
No
and then
problem.
the Sano race was held in Chicago, the Sano Retro race. I don't have pictures of all the podiums, so in the GTC FK class, Jerry Galloway was the winner. Nelson Swanberg was second, and Jerry Boogeyman Wyant was third. In the GTC Pro, Willie Custer was the winner. Ed Soul second, Greg Fox was third. F1 on the flat track, Howie was the winner. Swiss was second. Mike Swiss was second, the race host. JP Melchurska was third. F1 on the King track, Willie Custer was the winner. Dale Yamashita was second. And I didn't write down third place, so I don't know who third place was. And then on the flat track, which this picture is the podium of the Can-Am flat track race. Howie was the winner. Mike Swiss was second. Chuck Gambo was third. And Dale Yamashita on the left has a plaque. I don't know what the plaque is for, but he was in the picture with the podium guys. He came all the way in from Southern California to race at Sano this year. In the stock car race, which was held on the King track, Ed Soul from the East Coast was the winner. Greg Fox was second, and Mike Swiss was third, and Mike Swiss was also TQ. I know that. I think a new track record. And Can-Am on the King track, Willie was the winner. Greg Fox second again, and Mike Swiss third again. So that's your Sano race results. In the Northern California Scale Racing Association, they run like 4 classes, but they split them up into different driving skills. So stock car advanced, Buddy Matthews was the winner. Nicky Shackelford was second, and Cliff Gaither was third. In the expert stock car, I think it's Casey Shackelford, but on Facebook it said Casey Shack, was your winner. Jeffrey Cohn second, Brian Canuti third. Chris Dre was the winner in the pro portion of stock car. Ryan McDaniel was second, a.k.a. Vegas, and Rocky Rommel was third. In the trucks class, the amateurs, Gary Brown was the winner. Michael Kassar was second. In the advanced trucks, it was Buddy winning again with Nicky second and Richard Matthews in third. The expert, it was Brian the winner, Jeffrey second, and KC in third. And pro, it was Chris Dre the winner, Gene Brabham, it's not Brabham, it's Bram, or Brahm, was second, and Dave McConaughey was third. And then in the Hawk GT class, which is a new class for them this year, the amateur winner was Gary Brown. The advanced winner was Buddy Matthews again, with Richard Matthews second, and Paul Leidy was third. Expert was Jeffrey Cohn, George Hopper, and Anthony Varner. And on the pro side, it was Ryan McDaniels, Herman James, and Rocky Rommel. And then LMP advanced, it was Dan White and Paul Ludi in second. Expert, Jeffrey Cohn, KC, and Randy Kyle. In the pro, it was Chris, Rocky, and Gene. The Florida Slot Car Series raced at the Raceway.biz in Melbourne, Florida. Stock Car Group 1, which would be like their advanced drivers. Doc Doherty was the winner. Marcus Ramos was second. Dale King was third. In the Group 2, Tracy Dickinson was the winner. Ralph Josie was second. And Lewis Satterley was third. LMP Group 1, it was Marcus with Terry Tawney second and Doc in third. Group 2, it was Tracy, Lewis in second, and Ralph in third. In DTM Group 1, Doc was the winner, Marcus was second, and Dale was third. And then in Group 2, Tracy was the winner again, with Ralph in second and Daniel Lombardi in third. So Tracy pulled off a sweep of all 3 classes in the Group 2. So congratulations to Tracy. The National Racing Series was at HMS in Bellevue, Ohio. We raced on the American King track that, real size racer Tony Stewart, he owns the track. It was recently redone by Gary Gurney. We thought it was fast before. It's way faster now. But in LMP, Jason Dennis was the winner. Eric Shirey was second. Jim Harder was third. Stock car, Eric Shirey was the winner. Cap Henry, who was second, not in the picture, and Jim Harder was third. And then GTP, Jason Dennis was the winner. I was second, and Elmo Valance was third. And that's your winner chicken dinner report.
Sunday, Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. He throws a little comedy in. I got to find. Oh, here we go. So this weekend we have the Flexi Pro Challenge down at Hobby Max, Durham, North Carolina. We've got USCA at Chicagoland Raceway. We've got the OCC, Ohio Challenge Cup Series at Northeast by Erie, Pennsylvania. We got the Florida Wing Car Series down at Fast Eddie's in Pinellas Park, Florida. And on Sunday this weekend, we have the Penn Jersey Stock Car Series at Historic Trains and Lanes in Easton, Pennsylvania. The following weekend, the 27th, we got BRS at HMS along with the Hippie 100 $100 to win retro stock car race. The Northeast Nazareth Nats is at Port Jeff Raceway. That's a wing car race. We got the Gator Retro Racing region down at Fast Eddie's in Pinellas Park, Florida. We got the New England Retro Racing group at Modelville and Ashland, Massachusetts. And Retro East will be at the Race Place in New Jersey. And, of course, the Flexi Flats is coming November 16th, 18th. Sign-ups are still open, so that should be a good race. Walker will be there. I might be there. I haven't decided yet, but Walker's home track. Maybe I'll have better luck this time.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Also this weekend, we talked about the new raceway in Mocksville, North Carolina. Turn and Burn Raceway, they are having their grand opening this weekend, Friday and Saturday, I think is what I read. And they're having a couple special races. So we just thought we'd let everybody know that Turn and Burn, I think they're open now, but they're having a grand opening this weekend because I think I seen something on Facebook. They've already had a race or two. But
yeah, they raced last week on their Trioval, I think.
Okay. So they are officially open, letting the world know. So on social media, which I guess that's why one of the reasons Walker's on a show this. A lot of talk about bodies. On this picture, I thought you might think this stock car here has too much downforce. So
just a little.
Just a little. Think they went a little excessive with the rear wing.
Yeah, just a little too much.
Okay, the old Tin Man Junior Hanley, Mr. Aerodynamic. So that's all for that part. So we'll just go back to this. So what is on your mind?
Okay, so my question to you is,
To me.
why have higher downforce bodies been pushed more and more over the last, I'd say 10 years? Because I don't know when the EuroCOT NASCAR came out, which was then the highest downforce NASCAR body.
Okay.
And then from then to now, then GTP bodies progressed, and then now LMPs, and now they're all becoming high downforce.
Okay, so you want to do one class specifically first?
LMP.
LMP. Okay, so we got to go back to like 1997, 98. Back then it was called GT1 because LMP stands for Le Mans Prototype. Okay, so back then, the real racing at Le Mans was going through a phase where they went from prototype cars to street car type versions, like in GT, I call it GT or Grand Touring or GT1 class. So a lot of the cars in that time period were based on manufacturers' street cars, if you will. So that all went out the window in either 97 or 98 when Porsche brought I can't remember the model number, but Porsche brought a car that looked like a Le Mans prototype.
Yeah,
they dominated. So then it slowly, so in relation to slot cars, we were doing a lot of GT racing. And then like JK was probably the only company at the time to do a line of GT1 bodies. And all the rear wings on the cars were basically the same. Okay, like
Yeah.
the same dimensions, the same angle, the same length and height of the side plates. So while the front of the bodies were different, the rear of the body or the wing was they were identical from body to body to body to body.
Same downforce.
Right. So in 1998, I believe the Nats was in. No, I'll take that back. 99 Nats at the Division II Nats, which was ran the same week as the Wing Car Nats out in Idaho. It was voted on to add the GT1 class to the scale division. And I had suggested, or I proposed, that they only use the JK bodies because they were all basically equal.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was making bodies at the time, but I just thought we should just run one brand of bodies because as a manufacturer, you're not going to try and obsolete a body you just made. You know, if I make a Cadillac today and I make a Porsche next week, or next month or whenever, I'm not going to try and obsolete it by making it better aerodynamically than what I just came out with.
Yeah.
So that kind of went down in flames. And so they came up with body specs, which are still in effect to this day. And off we went. So I don't even remember when Out of Sight made their first LMP body. I don't remember when that happened. I wasn't in 98. Because back then we were still running GTP bodies in the Eurosport class. Okay. So they create the LMP class and they drew up specs with all these measurements. And then slowly over time, manufacturers started cheating the dimensions. Okay.
Yeah.
So like he would submit something and then find out someone submitted something that was longer or taller or maybe deeper. So that was causing problems. So then when someone came out of the body had an advantage, but it was deemed legal, then the next guy or guys would look at making something better, higher downforce than that. So we've just been on a slow progression for a long time. But, you know, I'm thinking like in 2005 or 2006, the USRA gave all the body manufacturers a wing. You know, like they kind of backpoured. I don't know whose wing it was. They just backpoured a wing and then gave everybody that and said, this is what the wings have to be like from now on, you know, P cars. So, but the problem with that is, you know, there's body manufacturers now that weren't around then, so they don't have the wing per se. Okay. So the only thing the USRA can go by now is the old original rear wing specs, which were never voted to be changed or voted out. But then it's up to the tech director's discretion or decision on what is close to that and what is not. So I don't know if it's ever been a perfect situation. I don't know if it can be a perfect situation. But then, okay, so, but then you have, and this leads into like your question about the COT body, okay? USRA is the only group that has like these specs for bodies.
Yeah.
Okay, for stock cars, GTPs, LMPs, 4.5-inch stock cars. So, but the USRA is really only one race a year. Okay,
Yeah.
so you make your USRA legal body if you choose to do so, which is kind of a bad investment because you don't sell many of those bodies other than a couple months up to the Nats. Outside of that, those bodies are hardly ever used. So manufacturers then go and make what I call outlaw bodies, okay, with more hook or more height, no step, longer vertical plates or maybe taller.
Yeah.
And because everybody's looking to sell bodies. I mean, that's what you go in the body business to sell bodies.
Yeah.
If the bodies aren't performing, people are not going to run them. So therefore, you make it, put it out there, and see if it takes water or not. So, and I mean that's the same for like stock car bodies, GTP bodies. Now we'll talk about GTP bodies because GTP bodies were probably the most stable bodies up until the last year because the USRA specs allowed for what they called the ultimate bodies. Okay, because when USRA first came out with GTP body specs, they were based off the ISRA body specs for Eurosport 24th. Well, then ISRA they got away from high downforce GTP type bodies. They went more towards the GTP LMP bodies. And then the USRA followed suit a few years after that, I believe. And so what we called the GTP bodies basically were only allowed in GTP and our GT12 classes, which eventually GT12 Expert phased out GTP bodies and they went with LMP bodies. So, but the GTP bodies at some time I'd have, like if I'd known you was going to ask all this, I would have dug this up, but they went to what they call the ultimate version, which allowed us a little bit longer top vertical and a little bit further point down towards the rear of the front fender. So what we started out with, then we made even a little bit wilder or more downforcey. Is that a word? By adding these measurements. So, and ever since the ultimate body thing, I think started like in the early 2000s. Pretty much every GTP manufacturer, body manufacturer, went in those guidelines. You know what I'm saying? Like they use that and they've got their body legal. And with everybody in the box, in the same box, there really wasn't a GTP body that was a dominant body per se. You know what I mean? Like you would see Red Fox bodies win, you would see Out of Sight bodies win, you'd see Palmer bodies win. I mean, you'd see PK bodies win, So it was kind of a stable thing. And I think for a long time you could any good racer could have took any of those brands of bodies and won races with them. Because I don't think one really had any advantage. I mean, now, body lengths, shorter bodies sometimes better than a little bit longer body and vice versa on a given day. So other than body lengths, the side plates were all still the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was really no additional downforce per se. And a lot of people tried, scooping out the bodies and doing different stuff, but it really didn't. At the end of the day, it really didn't make a whole lot of difference, in my opinion. So, up until I guess in the last year or so, two companies kind of went outlawish GTP bodies.
Yeah. And
while they're legal in FNRS, they're not legal in USRA, and some groups have allowed them, some groups don't allow them. So, and that's the same thing with the COT stock car. The COT stock car came about because I'm trying to think what year I did that in, like 2009 or 2008.
It was whenever I first started because they weren't out whenever we opened.
So when did you start?
10 years ago. So 2008 would be about right.
Okay. So, I think it was 2009 actually. It was the same old deal. Like, okay, so we'll back up, like, again, in USRA, they had 4-inch stock car because Group 10 originally was the like the wedge bodies with the mold inside bands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shockwaves.
Yeah. so Shockwaves and 966s and
W
Royale Wing,
whatever 22, something like that. All
yeah,
those.
yeah. So then they voted to go to stock car bodies. Well, there was no body dimensions for stock cars, so stock cars soon turned into what I called funny cars because they were all jacked up in the back,
Yeah.
and the cockpits got narrower and shorter, and I mean they look like a drag racing funny car.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't look like NASCARs.
So then we voted, So then we voted in specs for them, got them a little bit back to scale, and again, there was a manufacturer who continued to make those, and one other manufacturer kind of took it to the next level, and then I took it to the next level with the cock. Because, like, again, it's about selling bodies, and whatever body handles the best, guys are going to buy. So, the JK, it's kind of got really high downforce, some of their, because they really don't, my opinion, they really don't have a good COT body. No. But if you run stock cars, non-COT stock cars, their bodies are pretty popular.
Yeah, Toyota's the best non-COT body out there.
So and then our non-COTs are pretty good too. But
yes.
So but the JKs still are pretty good. Like they're competitive.
Yeah.
And Parma kind of just dropped out of the 4-inch stock car deal at one time.
Yeah.
And then basically we have the same thing in 4.5 inch. I mean, or we had the same thing in 4.5 inch.
Yeah.
I mean, like, my Monte Carlo that's USRA legal, it's only 4.5 inch body. I think of that, maybe the Dodge.
Yeah, the Dodge.
And those bodies are like ancient.
Yeah, they're old.
The class is not that popular, so why do you make new molds for it? I mean, again, one race a year.
Yeah, I don't know what the newer scale body is. I think it's a Chevrolet too, but I don't remember what it's called. It's like longer and it's got like a splitter on it.
Yeah, that's not USRA approved because of the way they were spoiled.
No. Yeah. That's the popular body here. And like the Taurus, I think it was, that had the extra little spoiler on the top.
Right.
Was legal for Mid-South USRA for like a year, and then it got banned because of that extra spoiler.
Spoilers.
Way better.
Well, see, we make one without that, so
yeah.
I don't know if that's legal or not, but
yeah, that's legal.
Okay, so it's just the body thing is just a competitive thing. So, I mean, you can make an outlaw body and throw it out there in the marketplace, and it may not get accepted. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like everybody might say that's just too wild.
Yeah.
Or we don't like that company, so therefore we're not going to allow that body.
Yeah, exactly.
That happens a lot too. So, I don't know. I mean, it's 25 to 30 years of trying to get everybody on the same page, but it's never really worked. So it just comes down to what, groups and organizations allow and what they don't allow. And what raceways allow and what they don't allow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know like you made the comment, I don't know if I'm going to paraphrase this. You made the comment that putting on a higher downforce body takes away from the better drivers. Is that correct? Okay. And I agree with you because, like, when the USRA went from GTP bodies on the Eurosport cars to LMP bodies, they sat there and said, well, that just gave the better or best drivers a bigger advantage.
Yeah.
Because if you're a better driver to begin with, I mean, okay, if everyone's running high downforce bodies, the best guys are over here and the other guys are over here. You change that LMP body, you're going to have less over here and a lot more over here, because the high downforce bodies will make up for a lot of the lack of skill per se, because they're more forgiving. They have higher downforce. You can hook them up better.
Exactly.
Easier to tune, kind of.
Yeah.
But I see your point. I mean, like, I agree that it takes away from higher downforce, takes away from the better guys a little bit, puts it more
Yeah.
back over here. But I'm always about what makes the most or makes everybody. You can't make everybody happy, so we got to make the most happy. So,
Yeah.
as long as guys can get the bodies are available to everybody. Whatever the rules dictate. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember. I'll tell you a story. I mean, like when I was at Parma, and this would have been 1992. We started making GTP bodies, and like the bodies we had were kind of. I don't want to say they were total dogs, but we went more for scale than we did performance.
Yeah.
And Ken McDowell and our company's like, we need to be selling more bodies and winning more races with our bodies. Win races, sell bodies. And so it's like, well, we got to kind of get away from the scale thing, if you will. So
yeah,
we made the Parma Intrepid body, which is like the infamous GTP body. Because I remember like they carved it, and we would always do test pulls over the wood mold and check them for fit, and maybe sometimes go and run them. And I remember when the first 2 or 3 came off the wood, I'm just like, I know that thing's going to be killer. So the hot Parma body at that time was Toyota, and there was another body. And that was the body. Yeah, Toyota was it. So, but it was a 2-piece wing body. You know what I'm saying? So, but there was another body. I can't remember what it was now. So I go to the local track, and I remember I'm running my cars with the bodies I'd been running, and I think it was a hill climb, and I think I was going like 530, 538 or something. I put the Intrepid on, and through the first 2 turns, I don't want to say that fast. I was like, oh my God. And like 516. I mean, it was like 2 faster. So it's like, oh, buddy. So, I was still kind of competitive with what I'd been running, but it's like, holy cow. So, back in those days, USRA didn't have any body rules, and we didn't have any. We had a commercially availability rule, but we didn't have bodies had to be available 30 days before the Nats, or 60 days, or 90 days, or a year, or whatever. We didn't have none of that stuff. And every year, Gugu would show up and race Shiro Sports with bodies that were made in Brazil that no one here had ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay? And I don't think that his bodies were ever an advantage, but there was a lot of people that would say, well, where can I get one of those bodies to at least try? Because Gugu wins a Eurosport race with that body. Did he win with that body or not? Who knows?
Yeah.
If you don't have one to try, you don't know if that body's better or worse than what you got. So that was kind of the common practice, was he would show up with these bodies. So, it was like, all right, we got to hurry up and get this mold done so I can take this to the Nats. Well, in the meantime, it's like, well, we need to do a 32nd scale version of this for 132nd Eurosport. So it was like, we're probably going to get the 32nd done before the Nats. It's like, all right, so we get the 24th body done. And, looking back, I could have been, I guess, a selfish prick and just showed up with that body, and no one could have run it.
Yeah.
But I took bodies to sell. It's like, we'll take a consignment of bodies. So if guys want to buy them, they can. Well, anyway, so in the meantime, they get the wood master done for the 32nd scale body. So I'm like, okay, I pop me some of those. And we popped 2 or 3. And I went to the Nats with pulled off the wood 132nd Intrepid bodies. So, kind of rough. I mean, they're not smooth. And like out there practicing 120 and 124th Eurosport, I mean, I'm going super fast, and guys are like, "What's that body?" Well, they're in there on the wall. So I mean, I think I took 2 dozen bodies, and they were gone like in minutes. Everybody's parking lot painting bodies. And so then I should have, could have, but I didn't win the race. But anyway, Google wound up winning. He had an ultralight car, but I mean, I was competitive with him and got put on the wrong lane on purpose, and I lost 5 laps straightening my braid, and only got beat by 1 or 2 laps. So more politics. But so anyway, so but everyone knew, right? You know, everybody knew that was the body to run.
Yeah.
So and then 132nd scale, I mean, I won that race big time. And that's when the USRA is like, whoa, we have to stop showing up at the race with bodies no one's seen, or maybe that no one can get.
Yeah.
And stop this practice of painting in parking lots and stuff like that. So they went to, I don't think we went to a submission rule at that time. I think it just went to the bodies had to be commercially available maybe 90 days prior to the Nats. And,
that's decent. I mean, 90 days is good enough.
Right. And even after that, I mean, like I remember in 1995, I didn't own Out of Sight then. Frank did. And they had come out with the Viper and the Cobra bodies, wing car bodies, like a month before the Nats. And all these guys show up with these bodies. And it's like, you can't run them.
Yeah.
Why not? Well, Frank didn't. Well, I think then we did have submission.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Frank never submitted them, and they weren't at the distributors 90 days prior to the Nats because they just came out. And there was, I mean, Frank back. I was director of USRA. Frank it's kind of a funny story because all these guys were there before Frank got there, and I told them all when Frank gets there. I mean, you got to remember this is kind of like before cell phones and texting, and
yeah.
So as soon as Frank walks in the door, he just gets attacked by all these people. They're not letting us run the bodies. They're not letting us run the bodies. He's like, what the hell's going on? So he comes over to me, he backs me in a corner, and he's like, I'm gonna sue you if you don't let the bodies run. I said, call your lawyer because it's in the rule book that they have to be submitted. You didn't submit. He goes, well, I don't have a rule book. And I'm like, well, are you a member of the USRA? You're not even a member of the USRA. You're a manufacturer. You're a member, and you're complaining about the rules. So we went around for a little bit, but then, cooler heads prevailed, and he next day, he kind of called me over the corner. He apologized, and he said I did the right thing. But he wanted to make sure if that ever happened in the future, would other manufacturers be treated the same? And I said, yeah. So then the next year we went to the wing car Nats, and we had a problem with Cayman. So and I think one year we had a problem with Parma. But, after it happens 2 or 3 times, everybody realizes you got to do this. And I don't think there's been a new body show up at the Nats and attempted to run since probably 1996, 97.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's good. So, I mean, it was kind of like, you got this big money race coming up this week, and you got 2 new LMP bodies that just came out, and nobody knew what was going to happen, and Pete wisely made the decision that new bodies, and that I back that 100% because it's not fair to guys that have been painting and cutting and mounting for the last, no matter if it's the last day or the last 2 or 3 weeks.
I've got 10 bodies sitting out there that would be obsolete.
Maybe we don't know that yet, but yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think Pete made a very wise move and made the right decision to not allow those 2 new bodies or any other new body.
Yeah.
And I guess if someone shows up this week with a body that no one's seen, he's going to tell them no. I mean, that's the right thing to do. So, and even with, I mean, like in FNRS, I mean, and the same thing with USRA, Mid-America's got the Toyota body that's got the little added extensions on top of the rear fender. And FNRS said no, and USRA said no, because that's not even in the dimensions of the USRA. I mean, that, like I said, no. And that
Yeah,
little,
that's a big
believe it or
one.
not, that little extra bit makes a big difference.
It does. That body has a lot of downforce.
So I was personally, I think Pete should have went with just like whatever FNRS legal should have been run.
Yeah,
But the Toyotas can run, so be it. Um,
yeah.
it is what it is.
And I mean the Toyota. I'm assuming the reason that the Toyota was allowed was because everybody liked them. It was on like the big hype train. Everybody was getting them. They were liking them. Pete likes them. Everybody likes them
And
because they're faster.
that goes back to what you
Yeah.
brought up
And
originally.
I mean, I do like whenever they're painted up, they look like a Toyota LMP car, a true Toyota wet car, which I like.
Right,
But I understand that it wouldn't be legal because of that little lip.
right.
So that's why I don't. That's why I don't mind that it's not legal for FNRS or for the USRA or any other division because I know.
But he does have a version coming out that does not have those. And I think the cockpit's wider because the USRA also has a cockpit width rule.
Oh, okay.
The Toyota cockpit was a little narrow.
Now I do have one question.
Okay.
So these new outlaw LMP bodies that have been released, would that those being FNRS legal, would that allow the Mid America Toyota to be FNRS legal? Since it would have less downforce now.
No, because it has those extensions.
Okay.
Because see, the thing is, if you allow the Mid America Toyota with those extensions, then I'm going to go make a body that's got taller and longer extensions, and someone else is going to make one. So we continue down the slippery slope.
Yeah, and like the air director things that sit close to the rear wing, they're like inside on the I think it's the 132nd Eurosport body or something.
Yeah, the brake ducts.
Yeah, the brake ducts that are basically just another winglet.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, basically, I'm going to say someone, but I don't think it should be someone. It has to be a group that has to sit down and with a clean sheet of paper. Because technically, there's, the real cars might have ducts back there, but guess what? Slot cars, no ducts. Here's how it has to be. Everybody's still within the box.
And it should be like certain manufacturers that still produce bodies that are competitive, and then racers, like a group of 10 or something that could kind of make the bodies great again.
It could happen. But then everyone needs to get on board and follow and use the rules and enforce them.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part. You're young, but you're smart. You're learning. You've been around long enough.
Yeah.
So and then then it kind of and then it'll turn into a political deal. Like I said, when everyone's within the same box, rules wise, spec wise, dimension wise, it gets to a point where no one can really come up with you can't come up with an advantage.
No.
So then people, or I should say manufacturers, get upset because, I'm not selling as many bodies as I thought I would or I want to.
Yeah.
Well, you can make a body, but if it's no better than whatever is out there, then.
Yeah. But at the same time, if there's a lot of bodies that are equal, like whenever we go to the Nats, even in GTP where out of sight bodies, they're still better, but there's still multiple different ones that are good, and it just depends on the track that day. Same as USRA LMP with the BMW, your LMP bodies, Red Fox LMP bodies.
Right.
They're all good, and so
they're all competitive.
Yes, they're all competitive.
Right.
And so that allows drivers to they don't have to, but they're more likely to buy everybody.
Right.
To make sure that they know which one's the best.
Well, the smart racers, they don't stick with one brand or one type of body. They will try everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Because on a given day, now team racers are kind of stuck in a boat, but like I look at some classes and it's like monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
I'll run the same body, they're all mounted the same. But I can assure you that I could probably take another brand of body or that same body and mount it higher, mount it lower, whatever within the rules,
Yeah.
and probably make it better than what all the monkeys are doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
other people can do the same thing. I mean, but that's we had another FNRS race this weekend, and I'm out there flying in practice, and oh, you got a hell of a motor. You got a hell of a motor. My motor's not fast. My car goes around good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why is my car fast? Well, because I tried. I only tried one style of body, but I tried it 3 different heights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Tried it forward and backwards.
And
Tried
1,000
different tires.
tires.
Well, no, I only tried 3 types of tires.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
You went with a plan.
well, yeah. You know what? I had a plan, and I was led to believe the track was super sticky stuck,
Mhm.
and I had all this kind of like firmer stuff, true and ready to go.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'll start with the softer stuff, and if I'm stuck, then I'll go hard. Well, I wasn't so stuck with the softest stuff, so
Yeah.
I started playing with wheel size. Going from a plastic wheel to a metal wheel, and I just did a combo with a small alpha hub with a little bit softer.
Mhm.
It was a medium. It was a medium alpha,
Yeah.
a small hub, a little on the softer side.
Yeah. I run those tires a lot. And the weird thing is, like, say a JK normal or treated rubber,
Right.
even though they're softer, sometimes they'll have less grip than, say, a Koford Wonder Rubber or an Alpha Wonder Rubber because of the different rubber types.
Well, mainly because it has more side flex.
Yes.
Okay, so the car goes, and then when it releases, it gets loose.
Yeah.
So, but in my cases, I mean, like I had small hub JK Wonders.
Mhm.
I thought they turned the car better in the 90 because the hub flexes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the
Yeah.
rubber was just a little bit on the harder. It was like 2 points harder. So while
Yeah.
it turned good in the 90, it didn't have good forward bite off the finger and off the top turn. It wanted to wiggle a little bit.
Yeah.
So I kind of sacrificed the turning in the 90 to gain more
Yeah.
coming out of the finger and off the top turn.
Because you got to keep momentum. That's, I
Right.
mean, that's how
I mean, the
those
car was
style
straight.
tracks are. Yeah.
Shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was more
And
important than turn it per
yeah,
se.
and that was my way of looking at it. The Palooza up in Downriver.
Right.
I had more of a turns, like I had more of a carry speed car, but I was also really good through the 90 and donut. But I kind of sacrificed some in the dead man and the finger to make up for the 90 donut and lead on.
Right.
And so I had a really good lead on exiting car, but I didn't quite have as good of a dead man and finger car.
Right. So, again, back to the bodies. There's a lot of speed in bodies,
Yes.
so you can't really lock yourself, and unless you race in a class with only one body's allowed.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then you got to mount 3 or 4 different positions
And
and
figure out
find
how
all.
it's the best.
Right. Yep. I mean, like I had this one brand new body in my GTP body in my box. I tried it 5 or 6 races and it never worked. And I'm like, what? This body's the same as all the others. Like, but then I went to like the 6th race, put it on. It was like hooked.
Yeah.
So it's getting raced today finally. But I mean,
Yeah.
the best part is if you mount multiple bodies, you're only going to run one on that given day.
Yeah.
So after the race, you go home and you replace that body at that measurement, that position, whatever.
Yeah.
You still got them other bodies to try at the next race along with what worked at the last race.
Exactly. And I have bodies from the 2016 Nats that I still haven't used yet, but I know at some point I'll use them.
Right.
Like the Group 10 body, the Red Fox GTP body. I don't remember what it's called, but the Group 10 body from
Oh,
Rogers Nats.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm talking about. It's
The
a
junior,
GTP
the
body.
junior or whatever.
Yeah.
Red sign. Yeah.
I finally used it again this year at Archdale
Right.
because it was the body that hooked the best. So I was surprised by it, but I tried it and it was the best,
Right.
so I ran it.
Yep. And that was one thing I didn't try last weekend. Like, I was going to try it and I totally forgot. But I was going to put a Cadillac body on and see if it made a difference.
Yeah. Oh, I love a Cadillac.
I know you do. But I just brain faded it and never even
Yeah.
put it on the car. So it is what it is. Sometimes they can get a little overwhelming, or I never really get confused, but because you just got to take notes when you're changing stuff around.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll forget to write something down. Then I'll have to try it again to remember.
Right.
And then you end up wasting time. Like tires, for example.
Right.
You try the same set of tires over and over because you don't remember if it was better or worse than the other ones.
Right. Well, like I went there with 6 GTP cars that were ready to put on the track and run. I mean, they had beat up practice. They were practice, but their bodies had been raced before.
Yeah.
The heights were all over the place. But it was like one set of tires. I ran that set of tires on all 6 cars and figured out, okay, like this is the best car right now. This is my second best car. Now we got to try and get these cars. So I went, on Friday night I had one car that went in, like it ran 3.7, 3.78 or 3.79. By the time we were going to tech for GTP, I had 4 cars that would run 3.7s. So it just came
Then
down
you're in
to,
a sticky situation.
well, I mean, you know what? It always went back to that one car that went 3.7 first. Because that car was just good. But, I mean, it went from 3.79 to 3.70 in practice.
Mm-hmm.
And another car that went to 3.70. So then I was I had the car at 3.75 and a car at 3.79. It's like, okay, I'm done working on those. Again, if I had to put a Cadillac on one of them, who knows what it might have done. So I got down to those 2 cars. And it was like, okay, I'm going to run this car here. And I'd run the other car and like, man, that car's pretty good too.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the one car. I have no regrets. The car was good.
Yeah.
It was a race. I mean, Jason Dennis kept me honest the whole race. I kept him honest the whole race. We pretty much ran on the same lap or within a lap the whole race. I had 2 come-offs. I could say either one of them cost me the win, but which one? And I should have never came off on either one of those 2, but I did.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that happens.
Yeah.
My car was good. Jason had a very good car. Jason's probably the guy to beat on American King Track right now because he runs so many laps on the one in Columbus, and he had run there the week before on that track. So even though I'd run on that track before, I mean, it was way different than what it was.
Yeah.
Since Girding's redone it. So I had to kind of reacclimate myself with it. And there's a lot of things you can do now that you couldn't do before.
Yeah.
There's probably still some things I could do that I wasn't confident in trying. So, so next time.
I really want to run the OCC race there.
December.
And I'm not going to go into that. Anyways, I want to go there because it's Tony Stewart's track, so I think it would be pretty cool. Plus, it's an American King. Who doesn't want to race on an American King?
Right.
So I really want to go for that OCC race, and hopefully I'll be able to. Okay. We don't have too many big races in December, so that's
right.
Hopefully going to be my second Midwest race.
We would love to see you there.
Yeah.
But it's really fast. It's really.
Yeah.
I mean, like when we ran there last December, we thought we were going fast 3.90 GP. And then I went 3.69 this Saturday. And, The track was super stuck the week before for the retro race there. Had some people upset. It got better as they ran it. Eric Shirey went over on Sunday and said the track was really good.
Yeah.
Got there Friday night, and the track was kind of funky. But
Mhm.
it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. So, it was kind of like it just needs to be run. I think it glazed over during the week from sitting.
Yeah. Like Durham style.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Right.
it
'Cause
had
they
been
don't weekly race.
it had been hot the weekend before,
Mhm.
and it just slowly cooled down through the week. So, the building's cooling down at night, getting a little warmer, and so
Yeah.
the glue is glazing over. And then we walked in Saturday morning, and the track felt way better than it did the night before. So again, it changed overnight. And as we ran, more and more we ran, the better it got.
Mhm.
So, when you go there for the OCC, if you go for the OCC race, I'm sure they will clean and spray it.
Yeah.
Because I had told Cap, just leave it alone. Sounds like it's pretty good.
Mhm.
And I don't even know if I'd ask. Know what I know. I don't even know if I'd asked him to redo it. But I know when we go to the OCC race, it will be freshly sprayed and everything, probably on Thursday, and then everybody go on Friday and run it in, and it will probably go faster at that race than we just did this weekend.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the track's super good, and Gary Girding did a great job, and I've yet to see a track that wasn't better after he worked on it.
Yeah.
Before. So, and yeah, he has redone a lot of American tracks, and
Mhm.
they've all come out better than what they were before. So,
Yeah. And our Cobra, which still don't know if it's an American or if it's something else.
well, it's not American Raceways, but it might be an American out of Texas, John Ford.
Yeah.
When Haase was, because at one time him and Haase was building tracks together.
Yeah.
But I think it became American after Haase left.
Hmm.
Not 100% sure on that, but I think that's the way it went.
And something somebody else has told me was that it was resurfaced by Haase, but it was built by American. And
Well, that very well could be. I mean, when you pull the track apart, if you can see, two, like the original board and another board on top of it, it will tell you it'll tell you right there it's been redecked.
we haven't pulled it apart. The last time it was apart was 10 years ago. So I don't remember that because I was that tall.
Right. Right.
But
so now when you pull it apart to move it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
because
we wanted to,
very rarely do they rip off the original deck and put new.
Yeah.
So it's deck on top of deck.
Yeah, and it's definitely heavy. I mean, it's the old original American style with all the stupid steel legs everywhere, that fun stuff, and it's nice and heavy. But we're hopefully gonna have it resurfaced or at least redone, like sanded down, because there was places where it was at the last place and it got water damage here or there that we kind of fixed whenever we put it in, but it wasn't perfect. Right. And so we're going to sand it over and repaint everything and restripe it all and just make sure that everywhere where it was bad isn't bad anymore.
Right.
And we're hoping to gain at least like a tenth per lap on average. It's not a lot, but just a little improvement.
Right. Well, when you pull it apart and you rip the braid off of it and everything and pull it back together, are you going to continuous braid it or section braid it?
Sectional.
Okay. So what you probably would do?
It was sectional, and then whenever my dad rebraided it, I think he did continuous to the tabs.
Okay. So how are you going to redo it? Don't know. Well, whatever you do, you need to bolt it together.
Yeah.
And sand at the joints.
Yeah.
Sure the joints are. Nice.
And whenever we first put it up, the joints were really mountainy.
Yeah.
Really pointy, but we've kind of leveled it a lot and gotten it to where it's pretty good now. There's not very many joints that are bad. And so we really didn't want to move it before we resurfaced it, but we kind of have to.
Yeah, because of room and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
So how soon do you think it'll be done?
Um, a month, hopefully, within a month.
Cool.
We don't know if we want to bring it in before the Flexi Flats or after the Flexi Flats. We don't know yet because it
Right.
might be a little messy and all that stuff.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we might wait until after that race and put it in, hopefully,
Well, yeah, you guys got a lot
right
going
after.
on because you're redoing that track, and then you're going to stripe and
Yeah,
put more taps on the MTT before the Flexi Flats, right?
yeah. We've got a lot of work to do.
Well, you better get off here and get to work. Are you ready for the race this weekend?
um, I've actually built 3 cars today. I broke an aluminum pan, so that's always fun.
Okay, so so I'm going to ask you a question because I seen that this weekend again. Was you run pin tubes or clips?
I ran clips in 2 classes and pin tubes in 2 classes.
And
The
which one
reason I
broke?
ran, uh, I broke my pan because the pin tubes were in a JK, and so I broke it in GTP. So it had clips.
Okay, it was a Mazzetti.
And yes, it
Yeah,
sheared it
yeah, because
like they
there
always
was 2 or 3 guys last weekend I think broke Mazzetti pans.
do.
They were all running clips.
Yeah.
I
And
just seen more guys break them running clips than I have pin tubes. I don't know what
yeah,
that means, but
maybe you just don't hit as much stuff as they do. I don't know.
no, I mean I'm talking just
Yeah.
other people as well. I mean,
And I'm gonna start putting in pin tubes on our new chassis because it has 4 pin hole uprights,
right,
so I can kind of move the pins around to see what I like more.
right.
But and so I'll probably transition into pins. My biggest issue with pin tubes before would be the pins bending, pin falling out, something like that, something just stupid, which is what happens in wing car racing all the time. So I've kind of been afraid of that,
So
which is why I've been running
is
clips.
your new chassis legal for the race this weekend?
No, not this weekend.
Okay,
We wanted it to be, but we just haven't gotten it out.
right. I know you guys are.
We
Yeah,
haven't.
you
We didn't
lost
get it out
time.
in time for him.
Well, I know you lost time with the hurricane and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean I know they're coming in the next week or two, but
Yes.
they've just been delayed. So
Yes. We were really hoping to, and like whenever he announced it, I immediately texted him, asked him if I could run it, and at first he told me yes, but then after a week or so, he told me no because they weren't out yet,
right.
and he didn't want it to be some sort of unfair advantage, just like
Well, that's good. I
the
mean, just
body.
same thing with
Yeah,
bodies.
that's
You
great.
know,
Yeah, that's a good thing.
yeah.
And I was gonna be like, for example, if those new LMP bodies were legalized for this race this weekend, I would just show up with my chassis and race it too.
Well, right, and see that's the thing. I mean, going back to bodies being available. I mean, basically, if guys wanted them for this weekend, they would almost have to have them overnighted to them.
Yeah,
Or
exactly. Or brought
mount
like,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like in your case, brought to the track and they spray paint
Right.
on, you
Right.
know.
Yep.
So but we have Dad finished the tooling now, so now we're pressing them and we're almost ready to ship them out and get them going.
Excuse me. Yep.
So and we have aluminum pans for the 4-inch and the 4.5,
Right.
as well as steel pans, and then the normal center section, 4-inch and 4.5.
Right. Cool. But you'll have the chassis at the track. Well, you probably have one. You probably have one anyway, don't you?
I'll have a few.
Yeah.
I'll be testing them.
Cool. So, is there anything else you want to talk about or ask?
What's MC squared equal?
I'd have to Google that.
Oh, come on. It's E. E equals MC squared. Come on.
I just don't pay attention to that stuff.
I think that's all for me.
Okay, that's enough. No, I mean, no, thanks for coming on. You were a good guest. You'll have to come back on maybe a little more often.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have to
Thank you.
get you and Shane on here at the same time.
Oh boy, that'll be.
And I'll wear my referee shirt, and
Yeah.
it'll probably be a good time. Probably lots of
Yeah.
fun. Maybe we can do that after the race this weekend.
Yeah, maybe we can do that for next week.
Maybe. We'll see. When you getting there?
Hopefully Friday morning. I have a class on Friday at 11 from like 11 to 12:40. So either I'm going to leave directly after class or I'm just going to skip class and go. But either way, I'm going to be there Friday because I need to practice.
If you come to Durham this Friday with them curls cut off, I'll give you $20 cash.
$20 isn't enough.
See,
Hey, there is a bet.
I knew it.
I bet Bud
Bud
over
Denning?
Bud Denning over our live video. He asked me if I was ever going to get my hair cut. And so I told him that if he came to the Flexi Flats and beat me in either class, I would cut my hair off.
Okay, so you're 18, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna find something here.
What are you going to do? Get me arrested?
No, no, not at all. Let's see. I'm gonna find. There we go. Let's see here. Give me a second here.
I'm kind of scared and curious at the same time.
Scared and curious. Scared and curious. Let's see if I can find this real quick. Shouldn't take too long.
And I'm wearing the Star Wars hat you had asked.
No,
about
that's
wearing
like
my
that's
Star
like
Wars
the
hat was.
trademark hat.
Yeah, I might just keep it for in my entire life and wear it everywhere.
Because when you when I see you wearing like the Batman hat, I'm like, where's the Star Wars hat?
The last time I have a Suicide Squad hat. The last time I wore it was the 2016 Wing Car Nats in Peachtree.
Oh, really?
And that was the hat I wore whenever my car was a 10th of a gram light box stock. And so I've never worn it again to a race.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm superstitious. And then every time I wear this hat, I seem to do better. So
Gotcha.
it's a little small, got a staple in it, a couple of staples to hold it together. So, but
Okay.
it's still operational.
Still, no operation. Yeah. Okay, so
Might need to pop some Star Wars hat bodies.
I
And
found it.
then we can race a Star Wars hat body in some sort of a spec race.
Okay, so I gotta download this real quick. Okay, now I'm gonna do this. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we're running out of time. Dun, 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 dun. Play that music from
I don't even know what that's from.
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy.
Okay. So 18, wearing a hat. That's me. 18, 19 probably, wearing my Cam 2 hat.
Hey, there you go.
That had my curls too.
Yeah. See?
See?
See? Hey,
There you go.
you don't have to call me a hippie just because I'm wearing tie-dye and have long hair, okay?
Yeah, okay. So there you have it. Ron at 18 or 19. Dark hair, long hair, thick hair.
And now it's gray and short.
Getting grayer. Thinner, shorter. Yeah, sometimes you have to become a responsible adult. You have to get a, as I always say, get a haircut, get a job, get a life.
Well,
It comes in 3 steps.
Yeah. I mean, then I just need to get a haircut
There you go.
because I already have a life.
See, you've already got 2
I'm here
steps.
65 hours a day, so
You just went backwards.
yeah. So now, after Bud beats me in the Flexi Flats race, I'll cut my hair.
Okay, so that is the bet.
I told him that, and I even told him there wasn't a reverse. He didn't have to do anything if I beat him.
So how short do you have to go?
Probably as short as it was. I mean, if I were to get my hair cut, it would
When
be
you were
like
that
it
tall?
was at Rogers.
Okay.
My hair was pretty short. I had the typical teenager haircut, like maybe Justin's hair length, that sort of thing. You know what Justin's hair looks like. He doesn't wear hats, so. Yeah, my head was covered by a hat, so you never really could see if I
Right.
was, for all you know, I was bald.
There you go. Yeah, you could just have a chrome dome up there.
Yeah. I mean, I could, I could just bring all the hair back like this and just stick it underneath the hat and then look like I have a haircut. Nobody would know.
Yeah, just don't put it in a knot. All right. All right. That's all I got for this week. So, what is the secret word? I'm gonna let you pick the secret word of
You know what?
what?
The secret word is gonna be mullet.
Mullet.
That's the secret word.
Is that what you have as a mullet?
Well, I mean, technically not. My
Okay.
hair's stuck because of
Woo!
my hat. But I have really long hair in the front too. I just pull it back. So maybe it could be cousin it too.
That could be. So there you have it. Welcome Bears all.
Yep.
You look like Thing with your hair down like that.
Yeah. I might just I might could do that for Halloween because we're in the middle of town now. We got to participate. I might
Yeah.
be the Thing for Halloween.
There you go. Stand out there and hand the candy out to the kids.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week for episode 63. We'll have some more race rundowns, and maybe we'll have Shane and Walker both, and may have Ralph back on. I mean, who knows?
Wow.
Be a surprise. I guess it'll have to be the Halloween show because it's going to be before Halloween.
And maybe we might have to wear a mask.
I always have mine.
I mean, yeah, I was about to say you don't need one, but.
All right. Thanks again. I'll see you this weekend. Everybody, be safe. If you're going racing this weekend, safe travels. Have fun. Win. And we'll see you next week, episode 60.